forgiveness and letting go is a ongoing process. It's not like a one-shot deal. It's not a one-time decision. It's a decision I have to make, throughout, in terms of being able to let that asset, go, because otherwise it's going to turn in on me.
And that's a question I wanted to answer our guests too, because I know professionally, counseling, dealing with law, Professor Goodman and Patrick, that there is, you want to be objective, but I know that there are clients sometimes that we get so compassionate about wanting to see them actually win this case. Has that ever happened to where you got a case that you really got passionately involved in it?
I get passionately involved in a lot of my cases. It comes with the territory. I'm alive. I'm aware of what's going on, and I see a lot of things that I believe are injustices, and it bothers me. I get emotionally involved in my cases.
Now, you also do some work for the community, and you are another community. We talked about Nelson Mandela, Professor Goodman, but Patrick, you also your association. You get involved in the community. You are involved in an association. Why would an attorney like yourself, with all the experience that you have, want to help a community association and get involved with them?
Because I live there. They're my neighbors.
Okay.
And I want to keep the community running strongly. It's an older neighborhood, and it's declined some over the years, but we're keeping up all the community association facilities and keeping it open, keeping everything running. So it's a challenge because the newer subdivisions, they have mandatory association dues. Mm-hmm. And the old subdivisions generally don't. And so what we get off for our association to finance it is basically money from the pool.
Excuse me.
And running the clubhouse we run it for weddings a lot, things like that, and kind of keeps things running. But it's the constant battle to meet the budget.
What causes are you passionate about now that you would consider yourself potentially getting involved in?
I don't really know how to get involved in it, but I believe that something needs to be done about marijuana being illegal. I think that it needs to be decriminalized. I've had too many clients that have actually gone to jail for marijuana. And I don't think that's right. I don't think anybody belongs in jail for that.
For marijuana?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why not?
Because I don't think it's harmful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't understand what the harm is. I'm not advocating that the kids use it. I think it really is not good for teenagers to use it. It would, if it were decriminalized, it would still not be okay for kids to have it. They're in juvenile court a lot for possession of alcohol, possession of marijuana, and they're in as much trouble for one as the other. And
so you're saying that you don't think that someone should be, say what you said again?
Incarcerated?
For marijuana.
Right.
And I guess I don't, it's a drug.
It's a drug, and they haven't gotten any empirical medical evidence that it's harmful. Whereas, on the other hand, we know that alcohol is harmful. You can die from an overdose of it. You can die from withdrawal from it. And it makes people act crazy sometimes. I do a lot of domestic assault cases. Mm-hmm. Alcohol is always involved in domestic assault. I think if you were going to have something illegal, I think it should be alcohol. I think if alcohol was invented today.
America would die if they couldn't sell alcohol. Please, I mean,
if it were invented today, it would be a Schedule 1.
It would die. America would no longer exist. That is its product, alcohol.
Well, then
go ahead.
And they're locking people up for smoking marijuana when you cannot overdose on it. It's not habit forming. Does not cause withdrawal.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh. All right, well.
Well, look at it this way. If somebody that's been smoking marijuana for a long period of time stops smoking it, mm-hmm. do they get sick?
Well, they may not necessarily get sick.
They don't, because they don't get sick.
Right, but okay, so that would be.
Ask our audience.
That would, well, yeah, the audience, if you want to call in on this, certainly we will welcome your comments about your opinion about
The
marijuana, the
legalization
legalization of marijuana. But I also thinking next week we're going to have on the show a young lady, Jacqueline Pitts, who wrote a book about gangbanging, and a professor from VCU, Tammy Hodo, who is a urban sociologist. But there's this thing in Virginia, mass incarceration. And so that's what we're going to be talking about next week. And so what are your thoughts about mass incarceration in Virginia?
Could you explain it a little better?
Well, there's, this, don't they lock up a lot of people here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's mass. Just a lot, lots and lots of people you're talking about like marijuana, people go, like, and some
So
of
you're
the
not talking
crimes
about
that
going to
people,
mass at Catholic Church. You're
right,
talking about
mass,
incarceration.
so people are being locked up for, petty crimes, kind of, a lot of the things that Richmond City Jail is filled with people that have committed, it may be a mental illness involved, so the Commonwealth is not really taking a look at what it is versus like they're considering it, this is jailable.
Well, that's a place where defense attorneys come in, because I've been appointed on people before that had mental problems, and have asked for evaluations to see if they're competent to stand trial. And on most of the ones I've asked for the evaluation on, they've been found incompetent to stand trial, and then they get treatment because they're trying to make them competent to stand trial.
Well, I think they're moving more toward providing, more of the evaluations to kind of, see, but it's not enough of that because they're still building a bigger jail now. So a bigger and a better one, a better mousetrap, so it's interesting, to me to see how much we put into crime, like Virginia in general, but probably across the United States in terms of how we criminalize, people and behavior versus finding a way to, I don't know if it's habilitate or rehabilitate, because it just depends on who the person is.
Well, we do, and being an attorney, you can probably relate to this too, Patrick. As we get different governors and get different people on the city council and different police chiefs, our society goes through a transition between corrections and rehabilitation. And these are the different programs that would be available in our communities. And so that's extremely important to us, because I know when it's lock them up and throw away the key, the judge, potentially the Commonwealth attorney, they take on a different spirit, especially when it comes to sentencing. And then sometimes our community goes through a transition of rehabilitation to where an alternative sentence would be available to an individual. And we have to look at both of them because we talked about human services on this show before. We talked about rehabilitation. And so I believe that everybody should have an opportunity if they are.
Finish your thought.
If they are in a state of rehabilitation, to an alternative sentence. Oh, caller, you're on the air. Welcome.
Yes. I want to ask a question. Not only the attorney, with the crime situation being the way it is in America, why isn't it that from the judicial system all the way down to the general assemblies in each state, why they seem to be them trying to lock people up more and give jobs in these remote communities, putting prisons up, whereas these small counties, and I don't care if it can be across the United States, they have jobs, but they're just locking up, like you were just saying, no rehabilitation at all. You lock a person up, then when they come out of jail, they don't have no job. They're say, well, you paying your debt to society. Well, how in the hell are you what you going to do when you come back out on the street, when you don't have no job, no nothing? Recidivism, you're going to go right back in jail. Now, it would seem to me me that the Virginia, quote unquote, Virginia bar and these judges should get together and start saying with these sheriff departments and everything, and say, well, we need to come up with a strategy so that these people will be able to come back out in society and be able to make it. But instead of them being able to make it, they comes back in the same condition in which they left, and and then the folks they hire up, oh well, we got a law, so this is more money that we're gonna pay. But look how much money you're paying to keep these people locked up year after year. And I'm gonna let you go.
Okay, did you have a specific question, though, caller? Because you brought about some very good points. Oh. Well, he was talking about the system that we have here. How do you feel about the system, Patrick, between that concept of corrections versus rehabilitation, alternative sentencing? Tell me what your thoughts are on alternative sentencing.
I think alternative sentencing is good. I frequently ask for alternative sentencing. In some cases, that simply means probation, rather than doing active jail time or prison time. And I think it's good, particularly when you talk about drugs, for instance. I think there needs to be treatment for people with drug problems instead of locking them up and having them, cold turkey in jail. It's that's not a good way to get off drugs.
Well, treatment is. Treatment is definitely available, and we only have a few more minutes, maybe 3 minutes left for the show. So treatment is available. I think that the education, because the way society views persons with any kind of substance abuse issue is we tend to demonize them because we don't really understand it. It's like we treat it as a moral issue. And on some level, yeah, people decide to use drugs, but I don't believe that people decide to be addicted. And so, a person selling drugs, it's like they may know that it's wrong, but it's a crime. They may not start out trying to hurt anyone, but it does hurt the community.
We got 60 seconds left, and I just wanted to make sure, Professor Goodman, that we was able to give Patrick's information again, your information, and your website, and close with that. Let them know how to get in touch with you, please.
Yeah, Patrick Killebrew. You can call me at 804-330-2926, or you can email me at patrick@pkcriminallawyer.com.
And Professor Goodman?
And you can reach me on the Seeds of Wealth and Wellness. That's a Facebook. So just Facebook, Michael and I on Seeds of Wealth and Wellness, and you can contact me that way.
And I can always be reached at 804-355-SEED. That's 804-355-7333. Any final comments, Professor Goodman?
Well, I thank you for coming on the show and sharing your expertise and your knowledge, with our viewing audience. It's been enlightening, and we definitely thank our viewers for calling in and asking questions, making comments. And please join us next week for Seeds of Wealth and Wellness with our author, Jacqueline Pitts, Children of Wasafa, and our urban sociologist, Dr. Tammy Hodo. And so I thank my co-host, Michael Edwards, who is just the most incredible individual that you'd want to meet.
Well, thank you again. You are a champion at Seeds of Wealth and Wellness. Thank you very much. Tuning in to the Seeds of Wealth and Wellness series, we know that you were inspired by these empowering messages. You have taken the necessary steps by listening and soon acting on these messages. Join us for our life-changing workshops held at 4609 West Broad Street, Richmond, Virginia. We can be reached at 804-355-7333. SEED. That's 804-355-7333. And remember, you are a champion at Seeds of Wealth and Wellness.